be absolute. And hold duration, how many frames do you want this to be stopped in between them, if you want to have any of them or not. And the label can be different color. Let's make it blue. And yeah, I'm gonna hit play. Why is it doing this? It is. So, depending on how many frames you choose to have, let's make this 240. This will keep on working. Yeah. So, every 30 frames, it's going to loop on itself, and yeah. Okay, so you can place it wherever you want. You can copy this, paste it further ahead when the character is moving. The same goes with breathing, basically. You can create a breathing loop. And yeah, so let's get rid of this cycle for now. So over here, let's say I want to reset my character, and the same goes with breathing. So a few frames in, you breathe in, a few frames out, breathing out. If that's a bit too fast of a breathe, but now we know how to fix this. You can push the frames further back or further to the front. Yeah. And just keep adding these frames. And you will have the animation. Melissa? Your hands okay? You're like.
No feeling right now.
No feeling. All right. So, as I said, the part that comes to your animation is simply just moving things. Think about the main poses, right? So, with the walking, let's say your character is scratching their heads. So one frame is here, the other frame, main frame is here, right? Make these two, watch the animation. If there's anything needed in between, needs adjusting, then you can adjust it by adding keyframes in the middle. And always look for the speed of the animation, right? The speed is the most important thing. You want to have that kind of effect when it comes to animation to keep it consistent together. Now, what else? Oh, the camera. So, we had the question, lots of you were asking about this. What can you do when it comes to different types of cameras, right? So you're making an animation, maybe one you have a general shot, and then the next frame, it needs to be a close-up of your character saying something, right? So it's actually quite easy to do so. Like everything else in your animation, oh, nice hand. We call this bad daddy dance. Right. So you can adjust the camera movement and make keyframes for your cameras as well. So right now, what we're seeing here is what the camera is seeing. So if I click on this and then rotate around my scene, you can see this is my camera and it's looking at that frame, and this is my depth of field. So I can animate the camera itself by using these settings up here. So I can track my camera, I can zoom with my camera, I can roll the camera, meaning going in diagonal kind of movements, or I can pan and tilt. Pan and tilt, meaning tilt basically moving up and down with the camera, pan moving side to side. Now these are extremely important because they each have their own specific way of handling things. For example, tracking the camera, meaning the camera moving in, has a completely different effect than zooming in. Let me show you what that means. So, let's say I want to zoom in with my camera. I click on that and I basically click and drag. You see the effect is as if my camera is, I grab the lens and zoom in or out of the situation. What basically means is, if you, let's take a look at this side here, the camera side. The camera is not moving at all. There's just more zoom, right? But if I were to actually click on tracking, click and hold down Alt key and move in, look what happened here. The camera physically moved closer. That's why you see the perspective and depth of field changing, right? The more I zoom out, the further away the camera goes. The more I zoom in, the camera moves, not zoom in, move in, the camera moves closer, and so the perspective changes depending on the movement of the camera. This is a really important topic, and we need to understand how that works because because zooming in is useful sometimes, but in most cases you want that dynamic, you want that feel of, we call it parallax effect. That's where we can actually understand the depth in your frame. You want that to happen. So if you use zoom, you will not see that. You can see the keyframes for the camera is down here. Whatever you do with the camera is going to be recorded as well onto your scene. So between these, I would recommend, and the same goes with moving the camera around or panning and tilting, right? So if I click on pan and tilt, if I move my camera to the side, you can see the camera is physically moving within the space or up and down. It's as if I'm moving my camera around. So when you want to create changes here, I would recommend using the camera, the actual physical movement of the camera, instead of zooming in, right? That's not that useful, to be honest. So, we have the camera moving in and out, zooming in and out with our camera. And let's say in our animation, we want to create a change. So, let's start here. So, I'm gonna erase this. So let's say our character is walking, right? And I'm gonna physically animate this so we can have a better look at different features we can have. So the character starts here. I'm gonna grab the layer movement. And you know what, let's just have the bones. So the character, start with moving the layer. So the character starts there, and then it's moving into our frame, like so. that's quite fast for movement, so I'm gonna adjust those again. Let's just see. The starting point is a bit way too towards the back, so I'm gonna place it here. Someone's receiving messages left and right. Let's see how that works. Okay, much better. So the character walks, and I want my camera to follow my character, right? So let's say we're going to start at this point. Right now, what we have is the character to the side of the frame. So I'm going to start moving my camera physically and center my character. Obviously, right now I'm seeing the sky, which is fine. And then let my character move to its final destination. And here I'm going to pan, or track, sorry, with my character. And now, the frame looks as if I'm moving, my camera is moving with the character. It doesn't stop there. I want the next frame where he's taking deep breaths to be in his face, right? So for that to happen, right now I have the camera standing there. He brings his hands up and he starts to breathe. So up to this point, I want the camera maybe to zoom, not zoom in, but track in to our frame, right? Let's say the camera goes there. That's that frame. And the next frame, I want a close-up of my character's face. So I make a keyframe right before that, and I go to the next frame where the breathing starts. And here I want to bring in my camera. Oops. So let's undo that. Hold Alt key. And I want to jump into this really close up of the character. Like so. Okay. Now don't forget, I need to adjust my depth of field as well. I wish they had a setting, or maybe they have, I don't know. They always add new stuff.